Hello viewers out there, and or hopefully listeners also. My name is Earl, and I'm addressing this video to Todd of HuntingHarleys group, which I enjoy a lot. I love all the Harleys he shows, and I love the businesses and it seems like you're very accurate with the business you have, Todd. And I believe people can learn off each other. But you made a reference or a video in reference to me. Thank you. I think it was good for all of us to learn. But I also am making this video to correct a misunderstanding that's coming from a lot of viewers and commenters pertaining to an issue of shovel head Harley Davidson big twin motorcycles, not Sportsters, but the big twin shovel head design Harley 1984 and earlier, pertaining to the primaries. You know, the primary, you got the inner primary, outer primary, the clutch assembly, the front engine sprocket, and a chain and a tensioner that goes in it, just like your Evo and your CVO Harleys. Alright, I was mistaken in the way. I thought you had to separately maintenance and make sure you had the required oil in the primary for the shovel head Harley. Yes and no. It doesn't require a person to separately put oil into the primary case of a shovel head pre-85. But it does require oil. There is a misunderstanding here between possibly yourself, Todd, and a lot of your viewers, listeners, and commenters. They are saying that the shovel head did not require oil, that it was a dry clutch assembly or a dry primary. Not true. Okay, here's what I have discovered. I have investigated this thoroughly, and I am not mistaken. I have looked at 6 different inner primaries on the inside part and the outer part facing the engine and transmission. Those, the oil level in a shovel head primary prior to 1985 held at least 1 quart of oil in these primaries. Okay, how do I know this? Because the fittings on the outer and inner part of the inner primary cover on those shovels, one is 1/4 to 1/2 inch above the other fitting. The lowest fitting is where the oil from the engine oil supply drains into the primary, but it shows the lowest fitting, which is the gravity drain portion into the primary, is parallel to just under the center of the clutch assembly, which would be about 1.5 quart. And then on some of them it shows that fitting to be lower to where it's just at where the bottom of the clutch assembly starts, to where it's just covering the chain that's on the bottom of the clutch assembly, which would be right at 1 quart. But the point I am getting to right here is that those do certainly require at least 1 quart of oil in those primaries. They require oil just like the Evo and the CVOs. It's just that the individual did not have to add oil to those, because it was that assembly was reliant on the engine's oil source. But okay, this does not change the fact that one of the motorcycles I saw in a video, it was a 1980 FXC shovel head, very nice bike. That primary was very noisy. So I put in the comments, I said someone needs to take the 4-bolt inspection cover off of that bike. And they need to feel of that tensioner shoe to see if it's eaten to pieces. And they need to feel of that chain to make sure it's got oil on it, because it sounds like it might not be getting oil. The oil source could have been blocked from the engine oil supply. But a lot of your commenters, which you're not responsible for other people's stray comments, no more than I would be. Okay, but they're stating Harley Shovels had a dry clutch. They had a dry primary. No, they don't. That's a very wet assembly with oil, just like the Evo and the CVO. It does require oil. You have what is a gravity drop portion goes in through a fitting on the back of the inner primary case on a shovel head Harley, and then another one a quarter to a half an inch above that, okay, to where anything over that certain amount of oil will be sucked back by the engine's oil pump and returned to the oil tank supply. Okay, I just wanted to clarify these things. But if anybody in any shovel head, if you ever get a noisy primary, take that inspection plate off. You're supposed to occasionally check the slack in your chain anyway. There shouldn't be more than a half inch, and it shouldn't be like real sloppy. You should be able to push it up and down with using one middle finger, the royal finger, under the chain, and push it up and feel a little tension, but go as high as about an inch. You know, to make sure your tensioner, and if you have the manual adjuster with the 1 bolt and screw, you can actually adjust those through the inspection cover. Loosening that nut, and then you can take a screwdriver and then pry it upward and then tighten the nut and then check it again. Those are easy to adjust, and with your fingertips you can feel of the tensioner shoe. They're made out of plastic. I know they've even been doing that since the 1970s. You know, you need to check those. But anyway, thanks for listening. And Todd, why don't you look at my video of my new Softail I bought last month? I love attention too. I want to be noticed. But anyway, we both learned something here, and that's worth millions of dollars. When two people, especially older guys like us, we can put our energies together, our knowledges. And if, you know, we have a misunderstanding about something, we can both learn from each other. And so can other people if they want to. But anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and show us some more of those Harleys, okay?